Hi, this is Silver, and I hope you're having a great day. Thank you so much for all the support and love you've given the Fandub. The cast and I have loved hearing your questions, and we're thrilled by the amount of questions that we've gotten. There was a question that was submitted the day after we recorded, because this was recorded sometime in December, and Will and I thought it was super cool, so I tucked his answer to that one at the very end. Also, a question we've gotten a lot is, whose route are we doing? Well, you'll just have to wait and see. There's a scene in episode 4 where it'll be pretty evident, and if you've played the game, you'll know exactly what scene I'm talking about. Wink, wink. In any case, let's get to the Q&A. Hi, my name is Silver, and I'm the director of the Andromeda 6 Fandub. And today, I am here with Will.
Heyo!
Will, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Will, and I voice Sebastian Ilahaj.
Awesome. How are you doing today?
Fine. I have been better, and I have been worse.
Yeah, that's understandable. That's basically where I'm at right now, too.
Yes, but I don't have...
You don't have what?
Yes, but I graduated last year. I don't have finals, unlike you.
Oh, I'm tired. We don't talk about that. You know how
Do not speak its name.
Okay, so let's get started. We have lots of questions.
Okay.
Erudite from Tumblr asked, I love the energy and warmth you bring to Bash. What's your favorite part of playing him, and how do you get into character for recording Bash's lines?
Okay, so I love Bash. I love being Bash because Bash is sort of, especially when he's high energy, is basically me when I'm off my meds, but I know I'm off my meds. So, like, I'm pulling myself back. I have ADHD, in case you couldn't tell, but anyway. So, there's a lot of like, just being this bright sunshine boy. But
Aww,
also...
that's so cute.
But also what I do is I actually have a playlist. Well, not really a playlist. It's 2 songs. The first song I play is Hurt by Johnny Cash, if you ever heard that one.
Mm-hmm.
And so that sort of gets me, because the way I see, that gets me into a sort of melancholic disposition. Because the way I see Bash is is the person who's sort of running at full energy, because if he ever slowed down, he would just break down and cry. So I do that. So I listen to that first to have that sort of in the back of my head. And then I listen to some pop song from the early 2010s. Usually it's Timber. Sometimes it's like party rock.
You're so valid. I love that. So fun fact. Okay, so Courtney and I were talking, and she kind of runs the Tumblr for me since I'm really busy. And I'm like, yeah, you want to run it? She's like, sure. But so actually some of the devs actually sent in questions. So like yesterday I found,
Holy hell!
Yeah, I like died yesterday. I was like, got up and I was like, wait a second.
Jose! Senpai noticed you!
Yeah, I kind of died inside. So after I freaked out for like an hour. I actually ran. Okay,
God,
so
I wish you had recorded that just so we could hear you.
Oh no! Oh my God, no! It's just me fangirling for like an hour. But so, Deli, who is one of the devs, sent. Sorry for the wall of questions for Will. I'm about to send. I know you probably have a bunch already, so don't feel obligated to answer them. Sending you guys all the love and support from the dev team. Thank you for making us collectively lose our minds every time you upload. I'm like, wow, you make me lose my mind.
Oh my gosh. This is holy.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I collectively lost my entire mind when I saw that. But anyways,
my.
What is your recording setup like?
Okay, so my recording setup is janky as expletive deleted. Because what it is, it's the back corner of my family's garage that has some towels and heavy blankets hung on some spare bit of pipes that we have. And then there's just audio foam stapled to cardboard all around this one corner, and then an audio shield, but a very good microphone. What's it called? Arts Technica 2020 cardioid.
I have no idea what that means, but that's awesome.
With a second-hand Scarlett Focusrite.
Yeah, I don't know what that means, but that's awesome. I should probably know what that means, but I don't.
Well, I bought it off of a friend of mine who works in the industry here. So
oh, you're valid.
Yes. It was when I started this, it was an old microphone for a garage band that I had gotten like when I was 14, and the guys who make the Blue Yeti microphone also make an adapter. Mm-hmm. So it was either a questionable quality microphone or a questionable quality adapter. Now I have both. Now all I need to work on is the questionable quality of my studio.
Oh, you're valid.
Yes.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It really does look like a little cave. It's just there's an empty Coke bottle, a kerosene lantern I'm looking at.
That sounds quite like the setup. Wow.
Yes.
Do you have any recording funny stuff? Oh my god, I just can't English. Do you have any funny recording stories?
I do. So the first time I was ever in a booth to record, so as was revealed in the table read footage you uploaded just recently, my folks work in the industry, and my father was doing a show for Adult Swim that never made it to air. But one episode, they needed an actual kid's voice, and so through the magic of nepotism, I got to do a voice. And so originally it was just a side character, but then I can't remember if it was just sort of, well, we have the studio booked for 30 more minutes. Let's let him have some fun. Or like, we actually might use this. They had me voice one of the other kid characters that was a bigger character in the episode. And what I did is I had Invisaligns at the time that didn't quite fit right. So I sounded like this.
Oh my goodness.
But the thing is that it's an Adult Swim show, so of course it's not going to be the most couth vocabulary. And so like they had me saying things which I shall not repeat, as Silver.
Oh my goodness!
As Silver has instructed me not to swear, I will not repeat. But anyway, so afterwards, like I was proud as punch coming out of that recording booth, and I told my mother about this. I must have been like 12 or 11, and I said like, you had me saying this and this, and my mother said, I'm very proud of you, Will, but never tell your grandmother what you just told me.
Oh no, that's so funny. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you most relate to about Bash? And if you weren't playing Bash, who would you most want to play and why? I swear I can read. I just cannot read.
Yes. The thing I like the most about Bash is that he's the kind of guy who's sort of like, I have my own demons. I could very well just spend the rest of my life feeling sorry for myself in the corner of a bar. But I also have this talent for making other people happy.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Like the key for me for the character was in, I believe it's episode 2, where Nico finally reveals who they are and hides in their room, and Bash every day leaves a drawing on the door. That was a key moment for me. Like, oh, I know this guy. This is the guy who who just wants people to have fun whenever he's around.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't care if it's at his expense. As long as people are having fun, he's having fun.
Yeah.
Okay, and now the second question. Who would I most like to play?
I think I already know the answer to this one.
Yeah. Well, there's a few. Yes. See, my personal favorite roles to play are sneering villains. So I would love to play Vex. Because the thing I've done the most work on in my recording career is accents and dialects of various types, but mostly of the British Isles. And this one, which is very high class, and it's actually based off of Peter Cushing from Star Wars Episode 4, sort of like, "You're far too trusting. Dantooine is too small to make an effective target, but don't worry, we'll deal with your rebel friends soon enough." So, I would love to either play Vex would be, oh my god, I would love to play Vex, but Rob does a much better Vex than I ever could. But if not, then Calderon, just because there's that sort
Really? Interesting.
Yeah, there's that sort of sneer of cold command there as well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's cool. Someone else said, "Hi, Will. How does it feel to be one of the funniest people on the planet?"
Well, thank you, first of all. But I personally feel like you're lying. Because the thing is, I come from a family of writers. Both my mother and father are writers. And my father is a comedy writer. So it's very hard to make the rest of my family laugh.
Really?
Because
You're so valid.
Not because like they don't have a sense of humor, nor is it because like they are desensitized to humor, but more because since this is their bread and butter, their first reaction is usually like, "Oh, I see, very good antithesis there, and a masterful use of juxtaposition." It's a mark of true quality if you can make my father laugh.
That's understandable, honestly.
Yes.
You're valid.
Yes.
Okay, the next person said, "Bash is so sweet and wholesome, and he deserves the world and all its love. You do such a great job playing him, so thank you so much." That's it. There was no question. Just love.
Aww.
Yeah.
This is so sweet.
I know, right? I read it. I was like,
And also for me, this is so helpful because when I'm in here recording, okay, so a little background, those of you listening. One of the things Silver does to keep us sort of glued together as a unit is that every week she does a get-to-know-you question, where she'll just sort of throw a question and then the entire cast will answer in the Discord channel. And so one week, I can't remember exactly how the question was phrased, but I read it as, "What is your greatest flaw when you're recording?" And for me, the greatest flaw is I cannot allow mistakes to remain in. And it's not just sort of, "Oh, that bit's bad, go over and record it." No, I have to record it out in one go perfectly.
So you're basically a perfectionist. When did I even ask that? Like, I don't even remember asking that question, but I also don't remember anything.
It was months ago, but see, the thing is one of the other projects I'm doing is an audiobook project. And so that adds another level of like, God, you have to be word perfect here. So like I'll be going through I'll be 4 or 5 pages in it, and then I'll switch had to has. I'll be like, "Oh God, it," and then have to delete the past 5 minutes of recording and just go over it.
Oh no.
And so the same thing happens with Bash. Like, for example, Bash's backstory scene in the episode that you've already put up, I'm still not happy with that. But that was the better part of a week recording that one scene.
Oh my gosh.
And even after I had sent you my takes, I still wasn't happy. So I went through and recorded it again and then sent it to you after the deadline. And credit to you, those were the ones you used, but I'm still not happy with it.
That's so valid. I'm kind of the same way with like my lines and when I'm singing and doing stuff, when I'm doing other things, but I also I get to a point where I get tired and lazy, so then I stop, and I'm like, okay, good enough.
Well, the difference is that okay, so I'm a writer myself, and so one of the parts of my process is that I'll write something out, go back, read it, maybe change 1 or 2 words, let it sit, go back, read it, maybe change 1 or 2 words. So when I apply that process to my recording, it'll be like, okay, this take is good. Oh, damn it, I went up with my voice when I should have gone down, or, damn, I accidentally voiced that stop. No! So it's like, so I'm sorry, I didn't know where I was going with this, but it's just hearing that people somehow still like it.
Yes, of course I do. I do. I do. Lots of other people do too. So.
Yes, thank you.
You're doing great.
Thank you all. Oh.
Yeah, you're doing great. But I hear you on the perfectionism. Like, it's just, yeah, I hear that.
Yes.
Okay, next question. Pineapple on pizza, what's your opinion?
Oh, good God, you heretics!
Listen, I like pineapple on pizza, okay? I like what I like. I like what I like.
I respect that, but I'll have you know that I will forever think you're wrong.
Okay, well, it's okay. We can agree to disagree.
Indeed we can, because this is, and if I actually might make a confession, I've never actually had pineapple on pizza.
You're valid.
I didn't even know it was a thing until I heard about this internet, like, argument about it. And of course, me being me, I went with the side that I found funnier, which is people who overreact and take it as a personal insult, the very idea of pineapple on pizza.
You're valid. Yeah, I don't know. I just like it. I mean, I just don't really like pizza in general. Like, that's just, I don't know. I used to like it a lot, but now I really just don't. I think it's just overwhelms my taste buds personally, but that's just me. That's a very unpopular take, but I don't, care.
I think what it is something I call the cheesecake principle.
Yeah?
Which is basically, when I was younger, I loved cheesecake.
Mm-hmm.
I just couldn't have enough of it. Almost for a solid year, there was probably not a day where I didn't eat cheesecake.
That's so cute. Oh my goodness.
I've had so much cheesecake that I despise it.
That's valid.
Hate the taste of it. I hate the texture of it. I just cannot eat it. So I wonder if it's a similar thing with you too, where like, oh, you've had.
I didn't have a lot of pizza though when I grew up. Growing up, I did not. I had pizza like occasionally, like for people's birthday parties or whatever, but it's not something I had constantly.
Yes,
it was just like, okay, it's a thing. Yes, cool.
But I imagine the pineapple puts enough spice in it that it.
Yeah, I think it just adds enough oomph to it,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. What is your favorite Vine to quote?
I don't really. I enjoyed Vines. I enjoyed Vine compilations, but I don't really quote them.
That's so valid. Or just have a favorite Vine in general. Everyone really liked those questions when we did them for Matt and Jose.
I know. But you have to understand that I am a person kind of driven by my aesthetic, which is...
I see that.
Which is basically, as I put in my bio on the site, sort of a ruin from the 1930s given a vague form of life. As I record this now, I have on a pair of sunglasses. The frames are from the 1940s. Mm-hmm. A purple silk necktie, a button-up shirt, a vest, a waistcoat, two-toned suede wingtip shoes, and a watch that's a replica of a 1918 trench watch, and a pinky ring, which is a graduation ring from Detroit in the 30s. So you'll understand if Vine does not really enter into that.
You're valid. You're valid.
Having said that, I do find them incredibly amusing, and if I had to sort of narrow it down to like, oh, this one's my favorite one, the one that comes to mind is that Thomas Sanders one where it's like, shotgun, oh man, you had it all the way here. No, I thought it was shotgun, and I want the front seat.
I know which one you're talking about. I love that. Okay, similar to another question we had earlier, which A6 character do you relate to the most?
Ooh, well, Bash, probably, honestly. Well, it sort of changes because I I am a very moody person.
Oh God, same. It's a Pisces thing. I swear it's a Pisces thing. I go through like 50 moods.
I knew that was coming. The moment the concept of saying I am a moody person quivered on the horizon of my mind, I knew for a fact that Silver would come popping in with it's a Pisces thing.
I'm sorry, it is. Like, I go through 50 mood swings a day. It's just... we live in a pool of emotions all day, every day.
I don't really believe in astrology. Anyway...
That's valid.
Oh, yes, and also, listeners... have a drinking game for how many times Silver says it's valid.
Oh my God.
It's a perfect drinking game if you want to die in 30 minutes.
Please. Don't encourage bad habits.
Anyway, so Bash when I'm in a happier mood, Riona when I'm in a sort of quieter mood, sort of a more contemplative mood. And actually, yeah, Riona's probably a better choice because sort of very quiet, and when I'm in a quiet mood, very quiet, but also sort of, I have a temper. And that is as far as I'll go with that.
You're valid. Oh God, no. Just said it again. Okay. You become a B-list superhero. What is your strange or oddly specific superpower?
I'm sorry, what?
Like, if you were a superhero, what would your superpower be? Like flying or like invisibility or something like that?
I honestly don't know how to answer this question. Probably mimicry. Being able to mimic someone's voice, facial expressions, mannerisms to the T.
Interesting.
Without seeing them.
Yeah.
Because
I could see that, honestly.
Yes. Well, it's sort of one of my sort of half-baked talents is that I can quasi-impersonate someone off their voice if it's distinct enough, which of course everyone can do that. But my way is sort of like, okay, when it comes to the dental fricative, they actually turn that into a plosive, so you actually have to watch for that when you're saying it. That kind of very methodical approach.
I'm shocked I actually understood what you said, because I did take an anthropology class. Like, it was like linguistics and anthropology, so I know what those are.
Yes, indeed. Comment down below if you know what those are as well. We'll all be very impressed.
Yeah, that's awesome, though. That's like really... I could definitely see that for you, honestly.
Yay.
Okay, learn so... Kind of... I think you also answered this kind of earlier, too. Learn from the table read video on YouTube. You have parents in the industry. That's so cool. How early were you exposed to it? Or to voice work specifically? How did you know it was something that you wanted to pursue?
Okay, the earliest I was exposed to it was probably the 2000s, because at that point in time, my father was working on Frasier, if you remember that show. And so where we live is only a few blocks away from the studio where Frasier was filmed. So my earliest memories of the industry are walking around the Paramount lot, like biking it even, with my mother and sister. I remember one of the funny stories I have from that is they were filming something that needed the back lot to be blanketed in snow.
Really?
And so it was. And so my mother, when she found out about this, took me and my best friend at the time down to the back lot and said, okay, this is snow. This falls from the sky naturally. It isn't just blanketed like this. And then me and my friend had a snowball fight on the back lot. Oh
my goodness, that's so cute.
As to voice work, I don't really know when that started. Probably when it started in earnest was in high school, once I started getting into anime.
We all went, okay, on that topic, what is your favorite? I know we talked about this before, but like, what are your like top animes, like your go-to animes?
Okay.
You're like, time to pull out the scrolls.
Kind of, because like I got really into anime in high school, and then it just sort of tapered off. Like I still sort of vaguely watch it, but not. Like there's that phase where you really can watch anything. Like oh, this entire series, yeah, I'll watch that in a day.
Yeah.
Like, that happened to me, and then I never got further than that.
Oh yeah, I hear that. Yeah.
So my favorites are at least half a decade old. Now, having said that, my favorite anime, again, slave to the aesthetics that I am, is called Gosek, or Gosik, which is about a Japanese exchange student in Europe in the 1920s who solves crimes with a how to describe it without it sounding creepy. A young girl trapped in a library. Basically, it's sort of Sherlock Holmes if Sherlock Holmes was a pouty young blonde girl. But oh god, this just sounds terrible. Please.
Oh my god,
please
no,
tell me
it's
you want
fine.
this out.
It sounds great. It sounds pretty interesting. I'd probably check it out if I had the time.
Yes, but honestly, I watched it because it took place in the 20s.
That's valid.
That was the only reason I watched it and liked it.
I have a visual novel for you to try then, because that's like based off that has very 1920s aesthetic that I can send it to you after.
Oh, what's it called?
Oh god, I don't know what it's called. I forgot. I just know that it was a really good visual novel, and I forgot what it's called off the top of my head. All words just flew out of my head. I'll find it though and send it to you after though. It's free though. It's free. It's great. Anyways, so what are your top 3 favorite candles? Or candies. I thought that said candles. I just read that candles. I was like, why are people wondering about people's favorite candles? But it turned out to be just now top 3 favorite candies. I just can't read. This is why people should not go to college, because you turn out to not be able to read. I'm so sorry. I'm embarrassing myself. What are your top favorite 3 candies? I was like, why are people asking about candles? Okay, what's your top favorite 3 candies? I know black licorice is one of them from the Halloween Q&A.
Yes, I love black licorice, honestly. Like,
can't relate, but you're valid.
Well, it's my pineapple on pizza. I love the taste of black licorice, and I defy you to not find someone who doesn't agree with me. Try to figure that double negative out. Thank you for laughing at that. Yes, black licorice, chocolate.
I love chocolate.
Any type of dark chocolate.
Oh my god,
my
yes.
personal favorite dark chocolate is this one that has just regular cacao, unsweetened cacao beans ground into the chocolate as well.
Oh, that's so delicious.
Sort of like, yes. And number 3 would be this candy bar called Skor, Skor. And it's basically a ripoff of Heath bars. The reason I like it is when I went to this summer camp that would go to this island off the coast of California, and in the little town shop, the little harbor shop, that was the first candy bar I ever bought there. It was the first candy bar I ever bought unsupervised. So it'll always hold the place in my heart.
Aw, that's so sweet. That's sweet.
Thank you.
Okay. If you could only wear one color for the rest of your life, what would it be? And please note that
Purple.
This is different from what is your favorite color.
Doesn't matter.
That's valid. I like purple too. It's a good color.
I just recently had to replace my phone case. Like, I've replaced it today, and I went from white to a sort of amethyst color.
Ooh.
I really in fact, out here in my recording studio, there's no heating. It's a garage. There's no heating. It's separate. So I got my favorite coat, which is behind me now. It is a plum-colored purple coat, like purple frock coat. You know, the kind that cuts at your knees?
Mm-hmm, yes.
Yeah, I unabashedly love purple.
Aw, that's awesome. Good. It's a good color.
It is.
Okay. If you could hang out with Bash for a day, what would you do?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Right?
Yeah. I hope you ask the rest of them this question if you haven't already. Honestly, I would probably just hang out with him in the engine room just to hear him describe how it works.
Yeah, that sounds like a very you thing.
Yes. Well, as you have alluded to in the credits, I made the sound effects for the A6 in our dub. And basically, it was a project about sort of like, okay, how does this thing actually work? Like, for example, I redid the door effects because the image I came to was like, okay, the A6, the Andromeda 6 ship is sort of the equivalent of a bomber from the 1940s that's still flying today, but has not actually seen a good mechanic in years. So, like, things aren't quite working the way they should. The methods by which they work are incredibly outdated. So, like, for example, the door, instead of it just being like a Star Trek thing, I envisioned it was sort of like, it's almost like a submarine door where these two huge latches have to come undone before it slides to the back. And for like the engine sound, for example, I've described this in the Discord, but basically I had in mind a rotor engine, which was basically imagine someone took a car engine, like the pistons in a car engine, and then just did an entire circle of them. And so I just thought, okay, what would a sci-fi version of that sound like? It's like, okay, this is the sound of the actual mechanisms turning. This is the sound of whatever applied fake mineral actually runs the ship. So to hear Bash go like, right, you were close, but actually we started from over here, not over there. And God, why did you even think that? Why do you think we'd start that? That would be incredibly dangerous. I'd lose another one.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, definitely. I would also want to hear Bash talk about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Devs, I know you're listening. Anyway, shall we have one last question?
Yeah, that's actually really great because I was just about to wrap this up. Oh God, so this was the devs' last question. They said,
oh boy.
Since Jose also had to suffer this request, please give us your best flirty pickup line in Bash's voice.
Oh, okay. Let me think about that because
Do I need to Google one again?
No, I'm thinking of one. Shut up. Hey there. Well, I'm an engineer, see, and I've been having a bit of trouble I think you can help me with. Well, I have a male end, and I'm looking for a female. Oh, God, that's terrible!
Oh, my God.
That's awful!
Oh, my God.
Oh, God, I feel terrible. I just trying to think of, like a mechanic pun. Actually, that would be what Bash does. Like, Bash is...
Oh,
Bash
my goodness.
Bash in my head doesn't flirt. Bash would just come over and say, "Hi, hey, you look a little lonely. Do you want to come over and drink with me? That would be great. And here, you can just talk to me about basically he would just be the type to sort of latch on to the one person who doesn't seem like they're having fun and just sort of like whisk them off to the dance floor and just try to make them have a good time."
That's so sweet. Honestly, that's so true, though. Yeah, yes. That's so sweet. Well,
yeah, oh God, I feel filthy.
Oh my goodness, I'm like red. So like, congratulations.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Oh, that's a pickup line you call the police over. Dear God.
Oh my goodness. You're right, but
Devs, I'm so sorry. I was trying to be witty, but I wasn't staying true to the character. Oh God.
It's okay. Anyways, well, thank you so much for doing this with me. This is like a lot of fun.
Yes, it was. I hope we do more. Yes, until I ruined it, as I do all things.
Oh my God, no, you did not ruin it. You sound great. It's okay. I like hearing all your answers. It's like they're very well thought out. So, props to you. Well,
thank you for doing this.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Yes, I still can't get over the fact that devs watch this, but
yeah, me either. Honestly, I cry like every time. I'm like, what? You guys watch the stuff I do.
All right. thank you all for watching, I guess. And,
have a good night.
Yes, what she said. And for those of you who actually started the You're Valid drinking game and went back to the start.
Oh my God.
I'm terribly sorry. And if surviving family members would get in contact, I am very willing to speak at the funerals.
Oh my God. Oh, please.
Well, hey, Silver, you're valid.
Thank you. Have a good night, everyone. Or day, wherever you are.
And have a pleasant tomorrow wherever you may be. Hey, so this is Will the day after the main section of the Q&A is recorded. We got one other question from a dev, which we wanted to answer, which is from Sketchy T. Hey there! LOL. Question for the Will/Bash Q&A. Curious what he thinks about the Bash doodles on the ship, and if he were to make his own doodles, what would he draw? Love the last Q&A, by the way. So, I love the Bash doodles. In fact, one of the first things that drew me to the character was, when I auditioned for A6, I actually had never heard of it before. So I just went on Tumblr and looked it up, and the first thing I found about Bash was someone, I can't remember if it's in a sprite or something, but someone found an image that he had drawn a face on his wrench. And that speaks to me because one of my sort of odd little habits is that I talk to inanimate objects, especially antiques, as if they're living. For example, if I come to an old building that's had a terrible restoration, I'll go up to like a pillar or something and go sort of, oh, you poor dear, what have they done to you? What have they done to you? Or in a more personal example, I have a typewriter, a 1948 typewriter that's been with me since second grade that I named Bess. And sometimes when I'm alone or trying to figure out, because as I said, I'm a writer somewhat. So when I'm typing something out and I'm having trouble with a section, I'll just sort of say, hey, Bess, how does this sound? And then I'll say it out loud, and usually that helps. So that was a big part of me realizing, oh, this might be a character I'm good at. And as for what my own doodles would be, I cannot draw. So they would probably be unidentifiable, but if I were to doodle on anything, I would probably... See, it's hard because when I think about the doodles, I think of it, okay, what would I as Bash draw, not what I personally would draw, so I'll answer both. I as Bash would probably draw like something on the engines to make them look more animal-like. Like, the way I personally imagine the engines looking, they're sort of like a long tube that's surrounded by rotors. And so on one end, I imagine Bash would like draw eyes around it so it looks like a huge mouth. But I personally, what I would probably draw is I would probably draw little reminders to myself, sort of like, the pipes behind this panel control the plasma output to the second engine. Do not touch, or for whatever reason, the right landing leg won't work. So yes, that's my answer to that question. And also, the other dev question included the question of what would Bash's pickup line be, and I gave out something really horrible, and I regretted it immediately. But now that I've had a day to think about it, I actually came up with what I think Bash would say, which is basically he would go up to his target of seduction, slam his robotic arm down on the table, look at them and go, why yes, it does have a vibration function.